when a tragedy left 3 children without anyone. A mother of 5 opened her heart and her home to help her neighbors. Little did she or her husband know that decision would result in them returning home to find their house was completely different than how they had left it. Before we continue, please take some time to subscribe to Dailydose, like, and share this video with your friends. Tisha Boschman, a Las Vegas bingo cashier and mother of 5, knew there was only one possible answer when her neighbor Audrey asked her and her husband Kevin to be the legal guardians of her 3 kids. Audrey, a single mom of 3, was diagnosed with esophageal and stomach cancer, and she was desperate to find someone to care for her kids. After growing up in an orphanage herself, Tisha wasn't about to let Audrey's children with no place to go. So the family of 7 quickly became a family of 10. It all began when Audrey needed to go to the hospital to have some tests done, and she asked her next-door neighbor Tisha if her 3 children could spend the night at Tisha and Kevin's house. The couple agreed to take the kids for the night, never imagining that the arrangement would become permanent. After Audrey was diagnosed with stage 2 esophageal and stomach cancer, however, she asked Tisha to be the legal guardian of her children if she did not survive her battle with the disease. Although Tisha and Kevin had limited space in their home with 5 children of their own, they agreed to watch over Audrey's children. Sadly, Audrey's cancer progressed rapidly, becoming stage 4 in just a matter of weeks. Audrey thought she had a year to live, but not long after her diagnosis, she suddenly passed away. Even though adding 3 more people to their family wouldn't be easy, Tisha and Kevin kept their promise to Audrey. Having a huge family of 10 living under the same roof wasn't something they could easily accommodate. Their living quarters were cramped, with some of the children sleeping on recliners in the living room and in makeshift beds, shoved anywhere they could find space. Unfortunately, this presented an unforeseen challenge for Tisha and Kevin. Until the children had real bedrooms, the couple's adoption of the kids wouldn't be approved. Elizabeth Thames, a neighbor of the 2 families, knew about the Boschmans' living conditions and decided something needed to be done. Unable to provide the help the family needed herself, Elizabeth sent a letter nominating the family for Fox 5 Surprise Squad. Moved by the story of how the 2 families became one, the Surprise Squad decided to visit the Las Vegas home to find out more about their situation. I don't want them to ever have to deal with anything I had to deal with as a child, because children deserve to be children. They've been through too much. They deserve a loving family and a place to call home, Tisha explained before giving the Surprise Squad a tour of the house. I can't lose these kids. I might not have had them in my belly, but I have them in my heart, Tisha said, adding that it was her goal to make sure they were a family of 10 forever. After hearing her desperation and seeing how the family was getting by, Fox 5 got to work. After setting Tisha, Kevin, and the kids up at the casino where Tisha worked and telling them they were going to put up a wall to create a bedroom for her boys, the team took over the house. But they did much more than just add a wall. They completely remodeled the home. With the help of several community partners, the Fox 5 Surprise Squad finished 6 weeks' worth of work in 4 short days, just in time for the family to come home and see how different their house looked. In one of the biggest projects the Surprise Squad had tackled yet, the Boschmans' home was completely transformed both inside and out, giving the children the bedroom space they needed and so much more. In addition to creating the perfect space for each of the children, Tisha's oldest son, Chad, was given $1,500 to help him get an apartment of his own, something he had struggled to do. The family was also given a year's worth of free groceries and a brand new vehicle. "It's just really overwhelming that someone would do this for me and for my family," Tisha said, full of gratitude. "I didn't do anything too special. I did what anyone in my shoes would have done," the humble mom added through tears. "But most know that this is not what everyone would have done." Tisha and Kevin went above and beyond what most neighbors would do for another family in a time of need. Without hesitation, the Boschmans opened their hearts and their home to Audrey's children, loving them as if they were their own, no matter how difficult that endeavor was. While many neighbors may lend a helping hand, few would change their entire lives to help another. Tisha and Kevin might not think they did anything amazing, but the kindness and selflessness they exhibited proved they are real-life angels who inspired others to unite and work together so that they could enjoy a well-deserved surprise. Despite the cramped living conditions and the challenges of caring for a large family, Tisha and Kevin never wavered in their commitment to the children. Every day they faced the chaos of a full house. Meals for 10, coordinating school schedules, and making sure each child felt loved and supported. The sheer logistics of managing so many lives under one roof would be daunting for anyone, but Tisha and Kevin handled it with grace. They knew they had made a promise, and they intended to keep it. As the weeks went by, the family began to adjust to their new normal. While space was limited, Tisha made sure that each of the children had their own place within the home, even if it was temporary. She decorated the rooms with love, using what little resources they had to make the kids feel comfortable. Audrey's children, still grieving the loss of their mother, began to find comfort in the warmth and stability that Tisha and Kevin provided. The bond between the children grew stronger as well. Audrey's kids began to see Tisha and Kevin not just as neighbors, but as their new parents. They started calling them Mom and Dad, a testament to the love and care they had received. Tisha's biological children welcomed their new siblings with open arms, creating a harmonious blend of two families into one. However, the strain of the situation wasn't without its toll. Tisha and Kevin often worried about how they would continue to provide for such a large family. Finances were tight, and the constant need for groceries, clothing, and school supplies was overwhelming. But despite the challenges, they never considered giving up on the children. Their love and dedication were unwavering. One day, just as Tisha was starting to feel the weight of their situation, a knock came at the door. It was the Fox 5 surprise squad, ready to unveil the results of their hard work. The family was led into their newly remodeled home, and as they stepped inside, they were greeted with tears and gasps of disbelief. The transformation was beyond anything they could have imagined. The children's faces lit up as they explored their new bedrooms, each designed with their unique personalities in mind. For the first time, they had a space they could truly call their own. Tisha and Kevin, still in shock, wandered through the house marveling at the generosity and kindness that had been shown to them. It was more than just a renovation. It was a gift of stability, security, and hope for the future. Beyond the new rooms and the remodeled kitchen, there was an overwhelming sense of peace that settled over the family. For the first time in months, Tisha and Kevin could breathe a sigh of relief. They no longer had to worry about the children's adoption being denied due to lack of space. The home had become a place where all 10 of them could live comfortably and happily. The generosity didn't stop at the house. The new vehicle meant that Tisha could easily transport all the children, something that had been a constant challenge before. The year's worth of groceries took an immense weight off their shoulders, allowing them to focus on what truly mattered, being there for the kids. The family's future now looked brighter than ever, thanks to the kindness of strangers. The impact of the surprise squad's gift went far beyond material things. It reminded Tisha and Kevin that they weren't alone in their journey. The outpouring of support from their community showed them that their selflessness had not gone unnoticed. They had inspired others to come together and help, and that love and unity would carry them forward in the days to come. Looking back, Tisha couldn't help but feel that Audrey was watching over them. She had trusted Tisha with her most precious treasures, her children, and Tisha had honored that trust in the most beautiful way possible. The house may have been transformed, but it was the love inside it that truly made it a home. And in that moment, surrounded by their children, Tisha and Kevin knew they had created something truly special. In the days following the big reveal, life in the Boschman household took on a new sense of normalcy. The children, who had once been squeezed into makeshift sleeping arrangements, now had the comfort and privacy of their own rooms. The family began to settle into a rhythm, with the house now offering them the space and peace they had desperately needed. It wasn't just the physical changes that made a difference, though. It was the emotional shift as well. The kids, who had experienced so much loss and instability, were finally able to thrive in an environment that felt permanent, secure, and full of love. As time passed, Tisha and Kevin reflected on how far they had come. What had started as a simple act of kindness for a neighbor had turned into a life-altering journey of love and sacrifice. Through the struggles and the uncertainty, they had grown as individuals and as a family. And while their house had been beautifully transformed, it was the transformation of their hearts and the deep bonds they had forged with Audrey's children that would stay with them forever. They had not only kept their promise to Audrey, they had fulfilled it in the most extraordinary way possible.